Being recorded. Yes. So the meeting will be recorded today, 10 to 12. At 11, we'll take a break for 15 minutes. Let's see. So my name is Raven Shepherd. I'm the Cultural Committee Chair, Cultural Awareness Committee Chair. I was nominated in this position maybe sometime earlier this year. Maybe I think it was like May or June, somewhere in there. I'm new at this. This is my first time in this type of position, but I'm willing to be open-minded, especially with any input that all of you may have. I looked at and reviewed some of the work that's been done in cultural. It used to be cultural competency. We're moving from that language to cultural awareness. And we could discuss that another time, why and all that. But so I think the cultural committee started maybe back in 2010, it looks to me, when I reviewed some of the documents. And then it seems like Edgar Olivares was doing some really awesome work back in 2019 as being the chair to this committee. So I reviewed some of that work also. It seems like they made some headway and took some actions in response to some services that weren't being provided at the time for our Hispanic population. So I reviewed some of that work. It was really good. And so we're going to move towards what your input is, where you work, what types of things do you need to see change. Everyone should have gotten an agenda. I'm going to pull up my agenda real quick. Let me see. Let me post the agenda real quick. All right, here's the agenda. Can you guys see my agenda? Any thumbs up if you could see the agenda? All right, awesome. So I'm just going to kind of go over the agenda. In our first topic, it's welcome and introductions. So we're just going to go around the Zoom room and just share, who you are, what you do, and what your interest is in the committee. I think that Scott had told me that we don't have a whole committee, but I'm kind of leaning towards going that way. Like, what is our team going to look like? Because it's not just about the chairperson and what I think, or and I don't want a lot of our conversation to get lost in the shuffle of things or whatever. So I'm hoping that we could develop some type of team at some point. So this is our agenda today. Start time 10 a.m. in attendance. I will probably go back in the recording and get that information. And then let's see, welcome and introductions. Structure of Cultural Awareness Committee. Like, do we have someone that might want to take notes in the meeting today? Do we have an observer? And then a planning committee, like someone that is interested in helping plan some of the actions we're going to take moving forward. The topic today, one of the topics is reviewing and updating the cultural competency final plan. So we're going to kind of take a look at the cultural competency plan and see what things need to be updated. I don't know how many of you have reviewed the cultural competency plan yet. Maybe we'll get a show of hands in a little while for that. The goal is create inclusive plan moving forward. I know there was discussion before about the surveys that were distributed and how we can update those surveys moving forward, and what types of questions are culturally humble and what kind of questions may be stigmatizing in that survey. So we'll be talking about that stuff. The action. So the next plan will be 2023 to 2026, and how we're going to distribute that survey among our entities in our community, our organizations and agencies. And then topic 2 is the activities, the cultural activities that we'll be discussing. Topic 3, cultural awareness committee participation, mission, policy, and procedures. We'll go over that a little bit. It's written here. And then this one's pretty open, cultural awareness training. Some of you are aware that I have done a cultural awareness training for our community. So we'll be discussing that if you want to. We'll talk about that a little bit, or what kind of cultural trainings that you would like to see in the community. And with that, then we will have some closing comments. In our next community discussion, we'll talk about that. And then we'll adjourn at 12 o'clock. Next meeting would be in February of 2024. We don't have a set date yet. And as soon as we do, we'll get that information out to you. So this is me. I'm a substance use counselor. Also, I hold the license for a substance use counselor. I do not work in that department any longer. I now work in the mental health department of behavioral health, Lake County Behavioral Health. I do have a license number. I'm not fully licensed. I have a registration number, an ASW with the Board of Behavioral Science. I am a behavioral health clinical specialist and cultural awareness committee chair. And so that is my intro, and I would like to go around the Zoom room, and whoever wants to speak first, go ahead. Let me stop sharing real quick. So sometimes when no one likes to talk and stuff, I'll just start saying who's on the right or who's on the left of me, and just go from there or whatever. So go ahead and share if you'd like. I see you talking, Bruno, but I can't hear you. Still can't hear you.
Raven, can you repeat your introduction real quick? I am taking notes, and I was just making a table at the time.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. My name is Raven Shepard. I'm the cultural committee chair. I also hold a license for substance use disorder counseling. And I also have a registration number with the Board of Behavioral Science as an associate social worker. And I'm a behavioral health clinical specialist in the mental health department.
So on my screen, I'm right next to you, but it's probably different for everybody. But my name is Ben Anderson. I'm the Behavioral Health Director for Mendocino Community Health Clinics. So we have 3 clinics in Mendocino County and the Lakeview Health Center north of Lakeport in Lake County.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. Hi, I'm Richie Ramos. I work for behavioral health here in Lake County. I am a certified peer support specialist and a trainer in suicide prevention.
Thank you.
And I'm Julia Gray. I'm the case manager for the crisis team with Lake County Behavioral Health, and I've been with the county for 20 years with this agency.
Thank you.
I'll go.
I'm Melissa Farrell. I work for Lake County Behavioral Health, mental health specialist for our early psychosis team.
I think that was Melissa who was talking. I'll go now. My name is Tiffany Montel. I work for Scotts Valley Tribal Band of Pomo Indians for about 3 years now. I work in prevention specialist. We have a sober living environment here in Lake County, which is the first ever Native American based sober living environment to ever be opened up, which is amazing and beautiful. And we also have a rehab located in Santa Rosa.
I'm Laura Calderon. I work for children's team, and I support kids at school, teaching them behavior tools and how to manage their behaviors.
And Laura,
I'm Donald.
are you with the Office of Education?
No, I'm with behavioral health.
Thank you.
I'm Donald Laub. I'm a case manager, Lake County Behavioral Health on the EIS team.
Hey everybody, I am Kara Roberts. I work for Lake Family Resource Center and I'm the coordinator of the Anti-Human Trafficking Program.
Hi everyone, I'm Ana Maria Perez and I'm with the Lake County Behavioral Health and I'm a peer support specialist.
Hi everyone, I'm Mary Wilson. I am an adult education specialist for the south end of the lake and I am housed at Woodland Community College. I'm also one of the tri-chairs of our DEI committee for the college and I am the president of the Middletown Arts Center board.
Hi, my name is Angelina Fagundo. I am a case manager here at Lake County Behavioral Health, the Access team. I schedule intake appointments and process referrals for clients to receive services. I've been at Lake County Behavioral Health now for a year and a day.
I'm going to try again. Hopefully you can hear me. My name is Bruno Sabatier, District 2 Supervisor, representing the area of Clear Lake for the County of Lake.
I'll go next. My name is Justin Gaddy. I work with North Coast Opportunities. I'm the Assistant Director of Community Wellness. My area is basically covered Del Norte, Humboldt, Sonoma, Mendo, and Lake. I have a variety of different programs that I oversee based out of the Clear Lake office. Good to see all of you.
Morning. This is Crystal Marketan. I'm the Director for Social Services here in Lake County. Looking forward to this meeting.
Sorry. I'm Melissa Kopp. I work for Lake County Behavioral Health Services. My primary function is the Lake County Continuum of Care Analyst.
Hello, everyone. I'm Layla Romero with Lake County Health Services in the Public Health Division. I'm the Health Equity Coordinator addressing health disparities in Lake County.
Good morning. I'm Connie Reitman. Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
I'm currently serving as the chair for the Pathfinders at the Circle of Native Minds.
Hi, I'm Samantha Bond. I'm the Executive Director for First Five Lake.
I'm Donna Gitchell. I'm on the Pathfinders board, and also I'm an instructor with the Pomo Cultural Traditions class at Circle of Native Minds.
Good morning.
Lady. I'm the program support specialist for First Five Lake.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sveta Torres. I'm the Chief People Officer at NCO, North Coast Opportunities, and I'm based out of the Ukiah office, but about half of our staff is in Lake County. I also serve on our JEDI committee.
Good morning. I'm Patricia Russell. I'm the MHSA Staff Services Analyst at Lake County Behavioral Health. And that's about it. Sorry.
I'm thinking we got almost everybody. If you haven't had a chance, go ahead.
Hi, Linda Hedstrom. Sorry, I'm jumping in late. Local affordable housing advocate, housing consultant, long history in Lake County of working with Latinos, particularly farm workers and Native Americans in affordable housing.
Hi there, I'll jump in. I'm Lynn Scurry. I'm Regional Director with Partnership Health Plan, working in with Lake County and three other counties for many years. And Partnership covers about 35,000 individuals in Lake County.
All right, I'd better jump in as well. My name is Greg Alan Friedman. I'm a project coordinator in population health at Partnership Health Plan. Just here to do a little note taking today on behalf of my director.
It sounds like everybody has introduced themselves, if I'm not mistaken. My name is Saul Sanabria. I'm the Director for Veteran Services here locally in Lake County. I do work hand to hand with behavioral health on the VA side, also locally, and as well as the healthcare side under the VA. But for the most part, it's benefits above all the umbrella of any type of benefit you can and may think of within the veteran community.
I am Kara Faye Ingram. I work for Redwood Community Services as the supervisor of the Harbor and Nest programs here in Lakeport. And then I also have the pit count chair for the Lake County Continuum of Care.
Meredith Neuer, Chief Deputy Probation Officer at Lake County Probation.
If anyone hasn't introduced themselves yet, last chance. No.
I still see about 10 people.
Yep. Good morning. My name is Kyle Gallo, Staff Service Analyst for SUD Compliance for Lake County Behavioral Health.
Good morning. My name is Kathleen Potter. I just clicked on because I got off of an assessment call. I'm a mental health specialist in the same office as Raven. Good morning.
All right. So at this time, it seems like everyone's introduced themselves. And do I have any volunteers, one for note taking, and a volunteer to observe the chat, observe the comments shared today?
I can do notes.
Okay, awesome. And then you could just share those with me later if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Okay. And is there an observer?
For the chats, Raven, just to
someone to observe the chats and the comments. And then what you've gathered later on, I can discuss with you what you gathered from this meeting today.
Okay, no problem. I'll be in the office after lunch today. No problem.
Okay. And then Kara Ingram. All right, awesome. We have a very awesome platform this morning, and I just want to say thank you to all of you for showing up for our communities today. This is amazing. So let me pull up the agenda real quick and share my screen. I don't know who has the agenda in front of them or not. So here is the agenda here. So okay. Let's see. The structure of Cultural Awareness Committee. So we have the note taker, observer, and we probably will be discussing the planning committee. One of the things that I want to discuss is the structure of the Cultural Awareness Committee. Like, what do you see? I'm going to need your input here. What do you see a structure? What type of structure would you like to see for this cultural committee? And the discussion's open.
I can make a suggestion. Because before I started working for the local tribes out here in Lake County, excuse me, I used to work for Redwood Community Services and my whole thing since switching from just a regular community venue to a tribal venue is before I have a community partner come to work with us, I always try to have them try to help better educate themselves about tribal communities, how some of their language types is different versus everybody else for certain type of things, and just to kind of try to find a cultural training or awareness that they could take to kind of better help educate themselves, and also not to be afraid to go and approach anybody who works for tribes in the office, that way we can actually make the connections with one another.
Thank you. So that's awesome. Like, more training, cultural training is good. I really appreciate you bringing that up. We do have, our county has sent out a county, I don't know if it's countywide or if it's just for our departments here at Lake County Behavioral Health. Let me share something else real quick. I'm a person that likes to share, so I'll probably be sharing a few different slides or whatever with you guys. Give me 1 second. We could also probably send this out to everyone that is in the meeting today. We could probably send this flyer out. Okay, here it is. So this is the training that's going to be coming up soon. I don't know, can you guys see the flyer? Okay. Okay, so this one is going to be, I don't know if any of you know him, Al Pooley. He goes everywhere and speaks all over California, maybe nationally, internationally, whatever. But he's going to be speaking about decolonizing mental health services in tribal communities. You're all more than welcome to get the scan code or the, QR code here. It will be on Thursday, December 14th, 2023 from 12 to 5. Here's a number to contact Diane Billy Elliott, MSW, ASW. So I will see if Jerry or Patricia can get this flyer out to everyone that's here today.
I'm happy to forward anything. I'm also going to be sending out the recording to those who couldn't make it. So.
Oh, cool. All right. Thank you. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing the flyer. Okay. So is there any other input about the structure of our Cultural Awareness Committee?
I think there should be like to make sure that we have adequate representation for these different cultures that we're speaking on, right? Making sure that we have adequate representation for those people, and making sure that we've invited everybody to the table.
I agree. Thank you for sharing that. On that note, one thing I would like to see is someone from every type of background, population, underserved, dominant, whatever background there's out there. I would like to see someone, maybe a privileged background, underprivileged background, to create the diversity that we need to keep the momentum of being culturally sensitive. I think
Raven?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. I'm sorry, but is there a statement on what the purpose of the cultural committee is?
Yes, there is. Yes. Let me share that with you right now. That's the topic, that's in topic 3, which I should have probably stated this right off the bat. There's a couple things I should have done right off the bat. So probably next meeting I will. That's the cultural awareness mission statement, some of the policies and procedures. And I should have done a land acknowledgement. And I can train you all in how to provide a land acknowledgement to a meeting whenever you are facilitating a meeting. Let me share the mission statement real quick. Can you guys see my agenda again? Okay.
Yes.
So if you look down on page 2, topic 3, you move on down right here. So Lake County's commitment to cultural awareness. It was explained that full copies of documents are available, including the Lake County Behavioral Health mission statement, statements of philosophy, strategic plans, policies and procedures, and other key documents such as MHSA programs and minutes. The mission statement being, Lake County Behavioral Health provides comprehensive quality services and supports in a welcoming and professional environment to community members in recovery from serious mental illness and substance abuse. Strong collaboration with partners is key to our success. That is the mission statement there.
Raven?
Yes.
I'd like to politely ask everybody that is on this that if they're not speaking, that they turn their microphone off. There's a lot of different background noise that everybody can hear. Just might be something good at the beginning of every meeting to mention.
Okay. That's another thing. We could do some housekeeping next meeting. Leila Romero. Comment?
Yes, just in terms of things that we're hoping to get for this committee, I'd really love it if we could get cultural humility training for everyone, just so that as we're inviting people to share their lived experiences, that it's not falling on either deaf ears or, get that reaction of like, oh, well, that's not what I've heard. That's not what I've experienced. That's not, it's something that I've experienced myself. And so I want to make sure that as the people doing the work, we are truly hearing the people that we're trying to serve.
Thank you. Yes, agreed. So let's go back up to the discussion of reviews and updates for the cultural competency final plan. Like, why is this important? So some of the questions that we have, is why is this important? Why are we here today? So what are your thoughts on that? Anyone else want to have any last comments on the structure of cultural awareness committee before we move on?
I would like to add something, and it's just to tag on to what Layla had just stated. Sometimes we need to meet people where they're at. And I think that there are a lot of people in this community that are at very different levels of acceptance of cultural awareness, and to help them guide them a little bit further along, we may need to have different levels of trainings and availability to try to pull them into where we want them to go without scaring them away beforehand.
Okay, that makes sense. So
I would also like to add that to that, Raven, if you don't mind. Would be that meeting the client where they're at also is another way of being able to be resourceful with the funding that we are using within the community. I think that would also allow being able to reach a larger number of people. So meeting the client where they are at could be also a way of being able to be financially, I guess, how would I say that, financially resourceful.
Are you talking about organizational or like individual, like financial health for individual community members or organizations?
I would say both. I think it would kind of go hand in hand.
I have something to add, Raven.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I'm a part of the LGBTQ community, and I haven't really seen much resources out here for them. You know, I mean, I know that the Harbor on Main does, you know, help with them, but like for people who don't meet the age criteria to receive services, you know, what can we do about that?
That's a really good point, because when we're talking about different populations, we're talking about our LGBTQ community also. In like Native way, we call them two-spirited people. And so those are our brothers and sisters too. And we also have our older adult population, our elders. We also have the youth. We also have people that are living in poverty. Like a lot of times in rural areas, that's a population that some of us have had to face, where we don't have much, right? We don't have financial stability. We don't have a lot of different things. So focusing on many different areas, that's being culturally sensitive. And this is one of the reasons why I kind of wanted to talk about the structure of our committee, because I would like to see people like reach out and say, hey, I would like to represent LGBTQ because of this reason, or hey, I would like to represent, you know, our agency or organization for this reason. Like what, everyone's welcome at the table, and what can we all bring to the table? It's not like what can I bring to the table, right? So let me like back up a little bit. What can I bring to the table? I think I could bring my experience. I could bring my strengths of how I've grown through my experiences. I could bring my passion to interrelate with everyone and how we're gonna move forward with being one together on this initiative of fighting or stopping the barriers of racism or biases and things like that. I could bring that to the table. I have taught over 150 professionals on historical trauma and responding to it. I've done a little bit of work, I guess, but I'm more inclusive. And one of the questions in the agenda I've asked is, what is the difference between being inclusive and versus assimilation? Because I think that if we know the difference of those two, that'll really help us to get started in where our mind frame is and what we can bring to the table. And I say that because sometimes we think, oh, inclusive means put everyone in a melting pot because we're all going to be included in that melting pot. That's not really what inclusiveness means or inclusion means. On the other hand, assimilation, that's kind of what assimilation is. Assimilation is like when you throw everyone in the melting pot and you're giving them this American dream and telling them, go for it. Not everyone's on that level. Not everybody has two parents in their household. Not everybody has financial stability. There's a lot of barriers, a lot of things in the way. Sometimes there's barriers in the way mentally, where we think a certain way and we get in our own way and we can't see any other way. So we kind of have to deconstruct our thinking process a little bit to be a whole. We kind of have to deconstruct the way we think others should live or be. And I've heard you guys share that in this meeting so far about meeting people where they're at. So how we can do that, we do have to be vigilant in this group to where we can describe what types of levels we're at with our own biases. What things have we faced to get through to a different type of thinking. How have we grown since we've learned about cultural humility? So
we keep an open mind and put your own conscious biases aside and biases to the side. Okay.
And then recognizing maybe like, what are my biases, right? What are my biases? So like this group, it's getting a little bit deeper than what normally we show up for work for, right? Like we show up for work, we do our paperwork, we write our notes, we meet with people. This is kind of like a little bit of internal work to move forward in this initiative. And I say that because I've had to take a lot of look at my own biases to be culturally humble. The reason why they're changing the language from cultural competency to cultural humility, one of the reasons why is because what was said at a university level was that we will never, ever, ever be competent of somebody else's race, background, status. We will never be competent enough to like totally put ourselves in their shoes. Like it's kind of like saying, if I use the word competency, cultural competency, it's kind of like saying, I know how you feel. When we really, really don't know how someone else feels, we can only be humble enough to empathize with how they feel. So there's a little difference there. And so they changed the language. I see a hand up. Welcome, Ron. Go ahead. You're on. There you go.
Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to sit in and hear the discussion today because we have a group of elders called the Pathfinders that Thomas Brown put into place when he was handling that the Circle of Native Minds. And since he's passed, he's left a big gap because he had such a handle on everything and was had a lot of resources within himself to meet a lot of needs in the tribal community. And so now that has fallen on the group of elders who are still meeting at the Circle of Native Minds to address the different issues related to tribal youth suicides and overdose and homelessness and addiction and violence. And so we are putting together a plan also how to address that for the Native community and working with within the framework of the Lake County Tribe Mental Health Department. So we are actively looking for ways to get word out to each rancheria and to those people who are in destitute situations to give them some hope and give them some encouragement and try to talk to our elders and leaders that we need to shore that area up. And then we need to be more proactive instead of talking about it, but being out in the community ourselves and talking to the people one-on-one or one on a group or however to get down to the issues that are really affecting the tribal people here in Lake County. So we have set rules that we go by, and that's our talking circle rules. We have our talking stick in the middle, and we don't interrupt. We expect the same courtesy from everyone that comes in our meetings. And we're there with single-mindedness to help the tribal community, which is our people here in Lake County. So I just I heard the word cultural awareness, and that to my ears, I have to teach that a lot to different contractors and different agencies, state and federal, because they think we're all the same, and we are not. Each tribal nation is unique in itself and has customs and things that are similar, but they are not all the same. And we need to know that distinction when we go into someone else's land and their village sites and so on. We need to respect that. So I'm just participating and listening to you guys discuss it. And I would like to help any way I can and see what kind of resources I can pull to help our people in the area of suicides and overdose and violence and yeah, and sexual violence also. So I just wanted to say hello.
Yes, welcome, Ron. It's an honor to have you here with us today.
Thank you.
You know, maybe there's some people from out of town and stuff here, Ron. And so I just want to say, Ron Montez, he's one of our Native American peoples, like elderly medicine peoples in our community here. And he's respected all around our county, and I'm pretty sure in many counties. So just want to say that. Thank you for being here, Ron. Connie Reitman also. Connie Reitman, she's an elder. She's been around for a long time. She helped write the grants to create the tribal health here in Lake County. And so she's done a lot of work also at a state level too, county and state level also. Let's see. So, thank you for your guys' input. Let me look at the agenda again. So one of the things I was discussing was the structure of Cultural Awareness Committee. We talked a little bit about that. I didn't discuss what a land acknowledgement is. And a lot of times when we're having, if I'm being culturally sensitive, one of the ways I would open up is by asking the elder in the Zoom room or wherever we're at to open with a prayer. That's the first thing I would do. And then I would do a land acknowledgement. And so what a land acknowledgement is I don't know if you guys have your phones available right now with you, but I will go over something really quickly with you. So a land acknowledgement, if you, I'm sorry, give me 1 second. Let me go to my contacts here. So I have I was taught this at Humboldt State University. They taught us, they have a really good, awesome curriculum over there. A bunch of different curriculums for cultural humility, cultural sensitivity. And so I learned this there. So this is the land acknowledgement. It's called Whose Land Am I On? So if you have your cell phones, I will send out if you guys look in the chat, I'm gonna put this number in the chat. It's 1907-312-5085. And you can put this number in your phone under land acknowledgement. Whose land am I on? You put that number in and you text this number. You put the number in and you text your zip code of where you work or where you live, and it will tell you what peoples were there. So oftentimes when we do land acknowledgements, people are very surprised of the answers they get. So this number will take you to it will take you to a link. It'll say land.codeforanchorage.org or messenger.com land acknowledgement. Okay, so you just push one of those links and then it will open up a website, and you will put your zip code again. And when you put your zip code in where you work or where you live, it'll pop up on whose land you're on. And what that means is basically the native people that have been slaughtered there, where there was genocide. There's bones under that land. There's a lot of bloodshed on that land you walk on. So it's not saying like, it's not I think someone before had said to me in a training I did, someone had said before, they were like, I never knew what land acknowledgement was. I thought it was like, you're saying that my land is yours or something. Well, which we are on stolen land. And the thing is that we just want our ancestors, our elders to be respected. The land we walk on, the blood that's underneath our feet and the bones that are underneath the ground, we want that to be acknowledged. So I don't know how many of you have participated in that activity, that short activity we just did, but if you did, can you just show me a show of hands?
I texted the number, Raven, and nothing came back.
Okay, so you text the number.
Yeah, and I sent my zip code, and I don't have anything yet.
Okay.
Did I do it right?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you did it right. It takes a few times sometimes for some people.
Okay.
I've noticed they've had to try a few times and then they got it. So I'll give you guys
but that's what we do. We're sending our zip code to the number you have on the chat, yeah?
Yes, and then
Awesome.
what will happen is 2 links will pop up.
Okay.
And you push one of those links, and then it goes to a website, and then you put your zip code in again.
Okay. Thank you.
And when you've done that, go ahead and just raise your hand or just say done in the chat or something like that. I'll give you guys a few minutes.
Kara has a comment on here. She'd like to discuss one of the grants that they received at the harbor and how we could possibly use that to make progress with the committee.
Yes, definitely.
Is that a good time to jump in?
Yep, go ahead.
Wonderful. So one of the great grants that we receive at the harbor here is our Elevate Youth California grant. And what it is it's an initiative to use art for restorative health and restorative justice within specifically Native American, Latinx, and LGBTQIA2S+ youth, and then people experiencing disabilities. There's no specification on what that disability is, physical, mental, etc. And so one of the things that we did, one of the things that we've done in this grant so far is we worked with Robinson Rancheria and Heba Matalel tribes, as well as the youth from Upper Lake Middle School and High School Native American clubs. And we were able to put a beautiful mural on a wall at Upper Lake Middle School. And our goal is the grant ends in 2024, and we have so much funding to put these up. The goal is to not just provide a safe space for youth to engage, youth ages 12 to 26. They don't have to have art experience. We have the funding to pay for an artist to train them. We're focusing on cultural awareness and education and healing, and creating something in the community that is going to be there for a very long time. And I would like to share my screen briefly, if possible.
Yep.
See, share screen. Boom. Share. So this is our flyer that I was just about to roll out today, actually. And this is geared more so towards the administrators or adult facilitators. Because another thing Elevate Youth wants to do is to promote youth leadership. So we focus on Heart's ladder of participation. So at the bottom you have blind obedience, and which is listening to any adult figure, which is what we never want, right? And at the very top of that ladder, we have youth who feel empowered to speak on their behalf of themselves and advocate for others in the presence of perceived authority figures and adults and people of higher power, in a way that they feel confident and equitable in. And so one of the wonderful things that I would love to do with this grant is in August, right at the beginning of school, when everybody's returned from vacation, I want to have a huge night of culture where we are bringing in different tribal youth and Latinx youth and LGBTQI plus youth in a way to where they can have a performing arts event. And I mean that in plays, in narrations, in poetry, in dance, in song, as well as hire caterers that represent those same demographics of people to provide food. And this event is going to be free, entirely free for the community. And so we're working with Kelseyville High School right now on a mural. We're going to be working with Lower Lake Club Amigos. We're going to be working with them on a mural as well. And so as many art installations and art projects that we can do up until July, we have the funding for it.
I think
and we'll
amazing.
pay the youth. And I know that financial incentives isn't the goal here. You know, it's about the passion, it's about the meaning. But the work itself is deserving of some sort of financial compensation, which will come in the form of like an Amazon gift card for these youth. I track what their hours are and how many meetings they attended, etc. And then I give them a gift card at the end that's representative of that.
That's so beautiful. I love it. I love it. That's awesome. And so like we could do something like that is what you're saying. Like we could bring some of that here and start planning a committee or even a subcommittee in that with this grant. That's really good.
Absolutely. So
what are the next steps that we would take in that?
So on the flyer, which I can send out in an email, there is a QR code that you can scan, and it's kind of like an application. So it's just basic information if it's something that you're interested in hosting.
Okay.
I'll go over it's just a couple, not too many questions. It's just basic name, contact information, organization that they might be associated with. And then
Raven?
Yes.
This is Connie.
Yes.
I'd like to recommend that even with say, for example, this project that she's talking about, it would be good if the different centers could communicate so we could learn about these things on the front side so that we could have some recommendations. And one of the things in our culture is that a lot of things are linked to our elders. And so part of the strategy would be to engage those types of traditional practices of the tribal community. So it isn't just outreaching to other entities, but looking at what is existing in our tribal communities that we can network with. So for example, we are one of the MHSA centers, Circle of Native Minds, and the harbor is also a project of the MHSA. So we probably really should be communicating right when these types of projects come in, because our elders represent all the tribes around the lake. And not that we talk for them, but that we are part of those communities right from the get-go. So part of the cultural competency or awareness is the key that elders need to be connected to the youth and what activities to support that and enhance it, hopefully. And so I would like to recommend that part of this engagement as a cultural awareness committee is to really look at how we can help emerging programs and emerging concepts to be connected right from the get-go to some of those cultural practices that really enhance that outreach effort or that development effort. And so I would like to recommend that anyone who's looking at cultural competency consider bringing it, of course, here to this committee, but also to look at what those resources are already in our communities. And so, again, for example, at our elders gathering that we have at the Circle of Native Minds, we have individuals that have been involved in developing programs and implementing programs and planning programs. And so we would be very supportive of efforts that are emerging in our community to be a part of that, because we've been a part of that in other areas, in education, in healthcare, in victim services, yada, yada. So we can bring that to the table. And so that's what I'd like to offer to the cultural committee, is that our elders group can be a resource in really beginning to lay down the pavement, so to speak, the brickwork on how we as leadership and as people responsible for outreach and engagement can become more aware of what the resources are. And so that might be something that the cultural group here can host for all the agencies in the county, and use this project as an example of how we can link those to the communities and the resources in those communities. Because there's, from what we're seeing, there's a lot of resources out there, but we're not like working together, so to speak. So we want to outreach to the different programs, because when we talk about cultural competency, have we heard from the elders what that means to them? And I heard Ron introduced us, and then we have again, what our priority has been, addressing the teen suicide rates among our tribal communities, which is incredibly high. And then the other end of it, which is the elders, which we're looking at a lot of abuse, neglect, and isolation. And that social isolation and geographical isolation creates other levels of mental health stress, but those aren't necessarily addressed. And I'm sorry for taking so much time, but it's really exciting to me, because I really believe that the cultural committee can be the nucleus for sharing resources and getting those resources out to our community. And we're really at a pinnacle point in Clear Lake where this can happen. And I think that's represented by all the people that are attending today, this session, that there's a lot of interest in it. So when the foot meets the pavement, we want to look at what that cultural picture is like. And that cultural picture for our tribal people, it has been a long disconnect from our elders to our community. And so the Circle of Native Minds has recognized the senior community, Native American community. And really, that's been a first step in really looking at what a cultural perspective would be. So I'm offering that to everyone today. A cultural perspective is that elders are involved in different things. And like Ron mentioned earlier, we look at an array of topics that impact our tribal community in the mental health field. So I'd be want to welcome everyone to join our elders meetings and see how we function as a group to promote cultural competency and provision of mental health care services. And we're particularly concerned about the suicide impact in our tribal communities. And we feel that there's been such a huge delay in addressing it that we're anxious to join with anybody else that is looking at youth development and responses. So thank you for your time and letting me download this perspective with everyone. So thank you very much for considering outreaching to the tribal communities, because that's where it can start. Thank you.
Thank you, Connie. That's really huge. You know, that brings me to wanting to know a good time and a good date. Maybe we can schedule, maybe me and Kara and whoever else wants to go and meet with the elders committee, the Pathfinders committee, to see what the input is and see how we can collaborate ideas together. Would you like to give me a certain time or anything like that? You don't have to today.
Tomorrow we'll be meeting, so I'll ask the membership when they'd want, you know, how soon we can schedule, because it would be wonderful to have maybe even a Zoom meeting to when that happens, and everybody can join that way. So we can make those arrangements. And again, I'm just so excited about this committee and about all the people that are joining us today. I want to extend my sincere appreciation on behalf of the Pathfinders group at the Circle of Native Minds. And I want to wish the best to everyone about how we can proceed and support this effort, Raven. And thank you for your leadership role in helping us move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Connie. So if you guys notice, I did put my email in the chat. If any of you want to contact me, you can always contact me on my email. And if you want my number, just let me know. I'll give you guys my number too. I don't mind. But at this time, 11:01, we're going to take our 15-minute break. And so be back at 11:16. All right, thank you. And if you weren't able to get on the land acknowledgement, I can go over that with you guys again, or it's okay if you weren't able to do it. Sometimes it takes a few minutes or a few times to try. Anyways, yeah, that's all for now. See you guys in a few minutes. Patricia, if you're available. Patricia, if you're available, I was trying to send out a link to, oh, he got it. It's okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks. So we are going to have one of the chairmen of the Big Valley Tribe. He's gonna jump on and hear our conversation here. So any comments on anything we've discussed so far? You can jump in at any time.
Hey, Raven, it's Kara.
Hey, Kara.
So just kind of circling back to what Connie was just talking about and getting on the meeting, and I would love to be also on that meeting to bring to the table some of the things I want to discuss about my grant. Just to put that in your ear.
Okay.
And then I'll be following up with you as well.
Okay.
Thanks.
I would also like to join that meeting.
Okay.
With the elders.
Awesome. Sounds good. Anybody else would like to attend the meeting? Leela? Okay.
Just wanted to say I tried the phone number, the texting, and I never got anything back, but I did go to the link that Layla shared in the chat, and I was able to do my zip code and find out what land I'm on. So the website works. I'm not sure about the phone number yet. I still haven't gotten anything back from that.
Yeah, so the phone number is supposed to link you, or supposed to send so you go to you get the number and text your zip code into that number, and then 2 links should pop up. And when the 2 links pop up, that's when you click on one of those links. Sometimes it doesn't work. I think, I don't know. Okay, Kara Ingram, thank you so much for showing up for our committee today, and we hope to see you in February. Hopefully by February we have an updated training for our historical trauma and response training. I was going to go over a flyer that we used in the past that we might be using again. But I will catch up with you later. and have a good day. Thank you for sending the first half of the meeting notes. And let's see. All right, is there any comments on what we've discussed so far? All right, so let's move forward to get back on the agenda. Look at the agenda real quick. All right, taking another look at the agenda. Okay, so we discussed structure of cultural awareness committee. We discussed that for a little while. And it sounds like we're starting to plan a committee. And everyone's always more than welcome to just do, like, if you have some type of expertise in this area, if there's something you want to work towards or you envision as being culturally humble or anything like that, please bring it. We can use whatever you have to offer. And so topic reviews and updates, the cultural competency final plan. Let me pull that up. The survey questions and updates that we would like to go over are on page 20 through 24, I believe. Let me see here. So I'll pull the cultural competency plan up for some of you that may not have it. Okay, let me stop sharing real quick. So this is the cultural competency, cultural and linguistic competency plan. So for many of you that don't know or did not know Thomas Brown, he was a huge advocate in the community for cultural humility. He also spoke five different languages, Native American languages. And let's see. So this was a draft, the 23-24 draft, produced by Scott Abbott. And what it has in here is commitment to cultural and linguistic competence, which a lot of like our Hispanic population, there was barriers of Spanish speaking providers. So what they did before in 2019 was Edgar was able to take some action and create some what's it called? Like he was able to get interpreters involved in a lot of different ways. He was able to get interpreters involved, and he was able to navigate finding bilingual providers. So he was able to do that. And that was the goal in 2019. And I think that goal has somewhat been met. If I'm wrong, please let me know. So in the table of contents, we also have meeting cultural and linguistic requirements, 3, data and analysis, 4, staff and provider cultural competency assessment, 5, client cultural competency survey, 6, cultural competency training, 7, program goals for next 3 fiscal years, staff provider cultural competency survey results, and attachment B, client cultural competency survey results. Okay, so there's that. And this is this is the statement here. I think this is included in the mission. Lake County Behavioral Health Services strives to deliver culturally, ethnically, and linguistically appropriate services to behavioral health clients and their families. In addition, Lake County Behavioral Health Services recognizes the importance of developing services that are sensitive to other cultures, including Hispanic, Asian, Native American, and other racial and ethnic groups, persons with disabilities, consumers in recovery from mental health or substance use, LGBTQ community, various age groups, transitional age youth, older adults, veterans, faith-based, physically disabled, and persons involved in the correctional system. I think a couple of our populations are missing in this, and that's something we might want to address to add to be more inclusive. Developing a culturally and linguistically proficient system requires commitment and dedication from leadership, staff, and community to continually strive to learn from each other. The goal also requires ongoing training and education at all staff levels. The Cultural and Linguistic Competency, CLC, plan reflects the ongoing commitments of Lake County Behavioral Health to improve services, to expand access to services, quality of care, and improved outcomes. The CLC plan addresses the requirements from the Department of Healthcare Services, DHCS, for both mental health and substance use disorder services, including the National Cultural and Linguistically Appropriate Standards. Let's see.
Reagan, may I ask a question? Sorry
Yes.
for the interruption.
No.
You know, so far, so good. Excellent info. I saw, of course, that this is a draft dated 2023 at the, page 1. Once completed, the authorized electronic copy, will that be sent to the team?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I don't know if you have a copy of this, but we can get this one to you guys so you guys can review it and discuss what updates you think need to be done. Maybe the language might be a little not culturally sensitive. We would like that addressed as well. So what we're gonna do is go through this. And Patricia, do you think you could send them a copy?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
And also, last but not least, speaking of being linguistically cultured individuals, I do provide services for translation or interpretation, not only in Spanish, but also in sign language. So if any needs do arise, be more than glad to accommodate that.
Thank you so much.
Sadly, the community here in Lake County or circumventing counties, the ASL community is not big enough, but nevertheless, there's always a need.
Yes, you make a good point. Yesterday, I was able to observe an assessment with a client that only understood sign language, like minimal sign language. And so that was different, something different for me. I've never seen an assessment done with somebody that only knew minimal sign language. There was also a organization that was in representative for this person, and that was the TLC. I think it's the Tailored Living Choice. And they seem very experienced in sign language. So that would probably be another organization we could probably get on board with this initiative also.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other input? Any comments? in this, to stay culturally sensitive, also, I would like to say, if you would like to share, you're more than welcome to just open up and share. You're not on a time limit. You're not on 5 minutes only or anything like that. If there's something that, you know, that you're passionate about or something you really want to share, just go ahead and do that. We do have our chairman here, Flayman. Would you like to introduce yourself? Sorry for putting you on the spot.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Currently, I work in our social services I do opioid prevention and our cultural workshops. I was recently elected to be chairman, and that'll happen at the end of January. So I'm getting prepared for that role. So, but a lot of the work I did is related to what we're taking a look at today. So that's why I jumped on. And that's kind of my passion too, is helping our people. So, you know, I heard there's a lot of good things that are gonna be coming out of Lake County Behavioral Health. So, and it's good that we work together. And I see the other agencies that are here too. So if there's any way that I can help, if it has to do with our people here or anything else that I can help with, I'm always willing to listen and figure out a way that we can make that happen. Well, yeah, thank you guys for letting me be here and being a part of this. Thank you, Raven.
Yep, thank you. All right, so if we move on down, one of the things we were going to start talking about today was cultural humble surveys. Like, what does that look like in your agencies, in your organizations? What does that look like when we're sending out surveys to our coworkers, management, our employees? And what does that look like when we're sending out surveys to our individual participants, clients, patients, community members? What does that look like? So we're taking a look at the cultural competency plan. Once again, let me just show you the title again. Okay, so here we are, cultural and linguistic competence plan. Like I said before, we're changing that language from cultural competency to cultural awareness for reasons. And let me move on down. I'm going to go to page 20 real quick. This is a lot of the stuff that's been drafted, and some of it's being changed, removed, updated, all that. So let me move on down to page 20. Okay. Hold on. This, I think this might be the older draft. Hold on 1 second.
Raven, this is Connie.
Hey, Connie.
I just wanted to share that people would be welcome to come to the Pathfinders meeting, because we have been working on recommending cultural competency training for peer counselors that would be working with our people. And I think that kind of training would be important for other providers to participate in too. So we are working on a draft for that training, and would like to invite people to be a part of that too. As I mentioned before, our elders come from the different rancherias, and we've been meeting now for quite a few years. And one things we're really wanting to facilitate is getting that training done for peer counselors, because our suicide rates are so high among our tribal communities. So the dilemma is how do we get an effective outreach, I guess, to the different service providers? A lot of training that's been provided is being provided by different agencies or organizations, and so we have a lot of resources we could also line up to and share with everyone. So I would say the elders committee would be willing to host a session like that, where we could share what the resources are out there, the types of training that have been going on, because we've a lot of the elders have been involved in cultural competency training statewide, and so we want to bring that training here, to Lake County, and modify it perhaps to have it ongoing, so that as new people are hired, they automatically go through that training, especially if they're going to be serving any one of our tribal communities in Lake County. So it'd be like a core competency, especially for mental health workers coming into Lake County, because we have so many tribal communities and tribal people. So we want to do like a core competency training, and do it in cultural, for cultural competency training. And we'd like to model it after the statewide cultural competency training that was done for the MHSA commission, and then also to incorporate any new methodologies that our elders have participated in. So we want to share that with everyone, because some of our elders have been involved in cultural competency training over the years with different agencies and organizations. And so we want to sort of compile that and create a more comprehensive perspective on what that might look like. And we'd like to share that with the Cultural Competency Committee too, because we do have recommendations we put together. This has been in our last 2-3 year plans, but we haven't seen any progress on it. So we want to share that with people, because these are the kinds of projects that we need to support, and get out to our community, because look at all the people that are here today from the different agencies. It's wonderful to see that interest. So I just want to share that some of the elders have been involved in cultural competency training and development, and so we're not at the end of that process yet. And that's why this Cultural Competency Commission is so wonderful to have as another group that can help us design appropriate types of training material. So I'm looking forward to that too, and what our recommendations could be as elders group, the Pathfinders group. So thank you again.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Connie, go ahead.
Well, no, it's just that we'd like to work with a representative from this committee, to make it a ongoing thing, because our Pathfinders, again, like I say, we've been trying to recommend the training over the years and content for it. So we do have a draft of what that training would look like, and that's been reviewed by the Pathfinders group, and we're wanting to share that with others that are focusing on cultural competency training, or whatever the name's going to be out of this. But I just want to share that, because there's so many different efforts in cultural competency, but a lot of them aren't linked to the elders. And yet one of the key things in our tribal communities is the engagement of elders and the seeking of counseling with elders that are providing support for the community. So I'd like to invite a representative from the committee to attend our meetings and coordinate and support any efforts you folks are putting together. We'd be glad to, provide our input as a group. And there's anywhere from about maybe 10 to 20 elders that come to the Pathfinders meeting. So we get a good review by representatives from around the lake. So again, we would like to support this committee by feeding in, what we have been working on, and share that with everyone.
That sounds awesome, Connie. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm really interested in what that's going to look like, and us moving forward to maybe get some type of presentation for our next meeting in February.
Oh, that'll be wonderful, because I know the other, like Ron, who spoke earlier, and Leslie and Bernadine, they all are really committed to sharing the information and creating viable next steps, so that we can really begin to do this training And the other area that we've been outreaching to is in the school systems and what they're doing. And Les has got a book rewritten relating to the history of Lake County, which has been updated. And that's something we want to share with people and look at that from a historical perspective and how that has created ongoing stress in our community. So, and that's not discussed very much in Lake County, but I think it's important to discuss, you know, that history of Lake County and what happened there for our people and the resulting trauma events from genocide. And so we don't hear that very often in cultural competency presentations. But when we look at what happened, say specifically in Lake County, we're talking about you know, genocidal efforts that were practiced. And so how does that impact a group of people? And then social isolation. Have we talked very often about social isolation and the impact of social isolation? And so if we look at what the ramifications are of social isolation, it's really serious. It's really serious how it impacts the child development and provision of programs and services to our tribal communities. Mm-hmm. So I keep saying something and I apologize, but I'm just so excited about this committee and just want to again share how much we are supportive of your efforts, Raven, to pull everything together for us. And we want to support that. And we have some resource we think would be important to promoting what this committee is seeking to achieve.
That's awesome, Connie. I appreciate that a lot.
Okay.
I'm thinking because you guys are in the office tomorrow on Friday that maybe I'll just stop in there and see what kind of drafts you guys are working on. So that I can kind of get up to date, because I would really love for all of us to learn from you and your team. And I know it's 11:42 now. We have about 16 minutes left. So we did talk about the structure of the Cultural Awareness Committee. We talked about some of the things we want to do, such as the mural and the grants for that. We talked about this presentation coming up, our next meeting in February. We don't have a set date yet, but that information will be sent out to you. Also, Patricia Russell will be sending you out a recording of our meeting today. So if you've missed anything, or if you want to, you know, just, you know, go over some of the stuff we talked about. I know we talked about the difference between inclusiveness and assimilation. And so I would really challenge you to go look at the definitions of those two words. And the reason why is because we're moving towards being inclusive, but we don't want to move towards being we don't want to move towards assimilation. And these two concepts are very different. And for some reason, they're getting blurred in conversations I've had with people. Those two definitions are getting blurred, and they're not the same. So I just want to be mindful of that. They're very different. So if you want to look that up, that would be great. So we did talk about that. We started talking about a planning meeting. It looks like we have Pathfinders on board, our elders. They want to, you know, be very a part of what we're doing here. And that's very important to us. It is culturally humble to have our elders lead the way and guide us to what is, because before we were around, our elders were here. They knew what was cultural and what wasn't. They faced many of the barriers that we don't have to face today because they've walked through it for us. They've paved that path for us. So it would be good information for us to learn how they did that and how we're going to continue doing that moving forward. If we're new to being culturally sensitive or culturally humble, culturally aware, it's important for us to look at our own biases and what's, you know, what's getting in our way or what scares us. Sometimes when we ask ourselves, like, I don't feel safe here, or I'm not safe, or I feel unsafe around those people. Like sometimes those types of languages can teach us something. It can teach us that that might be a bias, that might be something that may be getting in the way of being connected with others. So it's good to look at those things. Also, if you want to research microaggressive behaviors, that's another good thing to research. I think we're going to have some presenters. So Connie and her team may bring a presentation to us in February. We might have a couple more presenters as well. I have a person that can come in and talk a little bit about microaggressive behaviors. So we might do that. I do want to show you guys an old flyer that I made. We are turning this into an annual training. Let me pull it up real quick. If you guys have any comments, go ahead. The discussion's still open.
Yeah, Raven, I wanted to ask something, and mostly just, I guess, a comment to see if this is something that would be approved of. Obviously, cultural awareness is about creating a safe space so that everyone can have equal access to opportunities, services, and feel like they can ask for those things. We're all here serving the people, and the idea is to ensure that we serve everybody and not just the few or select individuals. But when it comes to cultural awareness, it kind of creates an umbrella that starts the conversation to create that safe space. I feel that one of the parts that I always feel is lacking in the cultural awareness is to continue to lead into the individual awareness, because Native Americans, African Americans, Latinos, everybody are not a monolithic culture. They all have their individual beliefs, their own individual history and background. And so to start off with that umbrella is great, but eventually you have to learn who that individual is in order to better understand how your actions and your words will impact that individual. And I hope that as we move forward, that we can lead not just with just the umbrella idea, but really kind of narrowing it down to lead those who serve, to get to really understand what is appropriate, inappropriate for that individual, because everyone's going to be different in the way that they react to, no matter how culturally aware we might be, we still may do or say something that that individual may see or feel is not appropriate for them based on their experience and their history. And so I want to make sure that we can start where we're talking, but that we never forget that the individuals matter within that groups that we're talking about, because that's who we're serving, is the individuals.
Yeah, that's a good point. And that reminds me of talking about the planning committee. I do see your hand up, Leela. Talking about the planning committee, I would love for people from different populations to I know our language is moving from a safe place to a brave place. A lot of people are changing that language because a lot of people use that word safe as a stigma. It was a stigmatizing word for a lot of people that were underrepresented. People misuse that word safe. So we're moving to a place where we can create a brave space. People could speak up, speak out, speak their truth. And that comes back to the planning committee, to where we want you to speak up and speak out and share your truth of what your background is, what population you are coming from, so that we can get an idea of what it is you would like to see done in this committee, for your people, for the differences that we have. Once again, to prevent assimilation. So if we have Hispanics in the audience here today, like, share with us, what is it that you are not hearing right now? Like, we want to know, what is it that you want to hear that you're not hearing right now? So the floor is open. Anyone can speak up and speak out on their background, if you don't mind sharing that.
So, with what Bruno is saying, I think that's where the cultural humility training is really going to come into play because it's kind of this idea of we as individuals are constantly learning that every person will have their own experience, that, every person's experience is valid, but they're going to be different, and that's basically okay. And one of the examples that I usually give is myself. I'm a Filipina first generation American, born and raised in New York. And my experiences can be incredibly different from someone that's with those same uh, circumstances, or even someone who's first generation Filipino American from raised in California. And so the idea is that, we acknowledge that others' experiences, even if we have similar ones, are going to be different, and each person's experiences are valid.
Yes, and thank you for sharing that information and getting personal. Thank you for that. I don't mind going around the room and asking that question. What is your background? Does anybody feel comfortable sharing their background? That might give us a good understanding of what roots are here right now.
I'll share my background, and I also had something that was kind of weighing on my head and on my heart. I'm not really sure how to present it because I've never been, I guess, felt brave enough to come to a platform and really kind of express my concerns. So my background is I am African American. My dad is Cuban. He came from Cuba when he was, I guess, 17 or 18 or something like that. So I live in Kelseyville. My kids go to school in Lakeport, and a lot of things that, at an early age that I'm noticing that I didn't really have to go through. It could be because I grew up in the Bay Area where it's a lot more diverse. My kids are facing a lot of racism. And, I get to the point where I am trying to help guide them through it. But a lot of the things that I tend to have to tell them is like sympathy on the kid that is doing, say making the comments and stuff like, oh, it's, it could be from the home, the parents, blah, blah, blah. They probably never been around somebody that's Black. And so, but what I've always would like to see is, things in school that teach the kids where they're young. And, it's, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but
you're definitely
I would like, I would love to be able to represent not only myself, my children, and anybody else that feels that way. But it's a hard thing to have to sit down with your children and help them find some kind of empathy or sympathy for these people that, or these kids or whoever that is displaying hate toward them. Thankfully, my kids have a big heart and is understanding. They understand, a lot of times kids don't understand what they're saying. They can pick it up from anything. So, but anyways, yeah, I would love to see more things in schools, mainly for the younger kids and stuff, and just really outlining the different cultures and, stuff like that. So I would love to help doing that in any way possible.
And definitely, Angelina, from a personal point, I just wanted to go ahead and say, you are a brave woman, truly a testimony to many. And I do relate with your children because as I was growing up, I had to deal with that. My father is Black, and he is a Black Puerto Rican. And I tell you, it was just a level of harassment that one receives as a young one. You never know really how to react or what to do or what to say. But one of the things I have learned in life is definitely, especially here at work, this is something that I practice, and I am looking forward to bringing this to this platform one way or another. The level of empathy, a high level of compassion towards others, but above all things, a high level of respect.
Thank you so much.
I wanted to thank you to Angelina, because I work in school, so I see a lot of it. I try to help support and have the kids, bring them together to process and understand and get along. And I think it'd be important for the staff as well to be educated on that level, because in this county it is hard. I'm Hispanic, by the way, I'm Mexican American. But I've worked for the county behavioral health 20 years, and I think it's an important thing to address for the youth and the teachers, so that we can all be on the same page and support in a bigger way.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that up.
I really appreciate all the comments and all the input from all of you today. And I hope to see you back again in February, because these are some really strong conversations and I see it going in the right direction that it's supposed to. And, you know, we have many allies out there, you know, if we're minority, we do have many allies out there, people that want to see a difference. Some people are just sick and tired of the biases, the microaggressive behaviors, the way they are seeing kids treated, the way they are seeing staff treat other people. Like, many people are really tired of it. And I think that's what brings you all here today, is because you're tired of it. And we do know how to take a stand and speak out, make a movement. And we're doing that right now. And I just want to let you guys know that you guys aren't alone. You're not alone, Angelina. So, you know, you're not alone. We're here with you guys, and we'll walk through this with you guys, because that's why we're all here today. So thank you so much for all of you showing up, and reach out to me. I had a lot of other things I wanted to go over still, but we still have time. And you know, we will go over more cultural training that's inclusive to all walks of life, not just natives, not just, you know, Hispanics, not just, you know, certain, but all of us. I want everyone to have a seat at the table and talk about their background. This is where we get, you know, healing. This is where we get answers, solutions, when we speak our truth, you know. So thank you for sharing and being brave in that.
And thank you, Raven.
Yes, no problem. Anytime.
Raven, how are you going to let everybody know about the next meeting, hon?
Patricia, you will see an email from Patricia Russell. She will be sending out a flyer, our final plan, and our agenda.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Any last comments before we close? We got a few minutes left, 3 minutes.
I did have one more thing to say. You know, also about adding resiliency trainings within the cultural humility, because, you know, I being LGBTQ and have been through some, you know, lived experiences in my past. And, you know, resiliency is a real key component in my life, because, you know, I have the ability to really bounce back from anything and everything. And I don't, you know, try to let anything affect me. I'm a lot. If many of you have met me, you see I'm like the happiest person ever.
You know, I appreciate you sharing that. I'm hoping that some people here will take that brave space and give us a presentation on what you know, what's going on in your community. Share whatever you'd like. You know, present what needs to be taught. There's a lot of things that need to be taught moving forward that we can learn from. So please share your ideas, continue to reach out, because I would love to have you present. So thank you for sharing that.
Raven, thank you very much for leading the conversation.
Thank you, Bruno.
I think it's a great job that you've presented it in such a way so that it's not just tethered to one specific aspect of the community, but you're opening it up to all of the different aspects, which is super important, because if you don't grow up in a specific demographic, then you're unaware of what else goes on unless it's presented. So I just think that this is a really great beginning for everybody to, you know, input and get together and learn from each other, and then from there spread it out. So I think that this is wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you too, Kathleen.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone, you have a great day. Yeah.